Welcome, Fruzsina. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, James.
How are things?
So basically not very easy days. Many people are working from home. And yes, I can say we have tough days again. And I believe it's pretty important to stay safe and to give people some hope, both to people working in tourism, both my colleagues. And yeah, I think I'm personally in a very special situation because I joined the Hungarian Tourism Agency just in the beginning of March, 9th of March. And luckily I had the opportunity to at least meet my entire staff because for until the 15th of March we were all there. So it was much easier to have a personal contact with everyone. At least I tried to learn the new names. I have a team of 20 people. And yes, I had like half an hour or maybe an hour with everyone. And as of the second week, we had to switch on online, of course. So it was a very special start for myself. Many of my friends told me that it's a very bad like coincidence that I just started tourism when it collapsed suddenly. But I personally believe that these days and this period is quite special. If we look at it from the perspective that I think the entire picture and the entire tourism industry has to be rebuilt. And what my husband told me is that whenever there's a war, then construction workers are the most needed. And basically that's my approach as well, that I believe we have many new opportunities and chances. And in a way, we have to redesign and rethink our strategy and see how Hungary can stand up from this very special and bad situation. And yes, I think during the first wave, Hungary did pretty well. Meaning that, of course, health was the most important, both for the government and for the people. And we had a very tough and serious lockdown. And I think it came in a very appropriate minute since the 16th of March. And it had very good results. So Hungary has 10 million inhabitants. And during the first wave, we had only about 300 people who died, which of course is too high already, but compared to the rest of Europe, I think we were in a very special and in a very good position. Now, during the second wave, our numbers are less attractive, I would say. The economic situation has to be kept on a certain level. And parallelly, we have to save people's lives. So I think as governments all around Europe and all around the world try to balance between the two. And yes, currently we have new restrictions from the 11th of November, and restaurants as well as hotels are all closed, meaning they can only accept business travelers. So it's kind of a full close down. Also, gatherings are allowed up until 10 for 10 people. These are, of course, private gatherings. And yeah, we can't go out between 8 a.m. and 5 a.m. So yes, we have in a way hard days, and as I said, I think the most important thing is to look forward, to do some strategic work, to do some background work, which we are currently doing with my colleagues, and also with the Budapest Convention Bureau as well.
So what would be the hopes and the expectations at the moment for Hungary, sort of moving out of lockdown, for example? So is it, or what's your hope and expectations?
Well, everyone is talking about the vaccine coming from whatever countries. Last week there were some very good news coming from Pfizer and many other companies. Yes, here in Hungary we are also looking at Chinese and even Russian vaccines. So I think it's kind of a hope. But you can see many different things about that. And I believe that most probably there will be several waves of this pandemic coming in the next few years even, which sounds pretty bad. But in a way, my personal approach is that we have to understand that this pandemic is here. Of course, the entire world is fighting against it, but somehow we need to live together with it in a way. So what we did, for instance, during the first wave is that pretty soon, I think we were one of the first markets in Europe where we introduced our COVID handbook. We based it on international best practices, I must be very honest, because my team did a great job when they were just really looking around the world, looking at the best practices. Of course, Asia was a couple of steps ahead of us as the pandemic started there earlier. So what we did was that we gave out some guidelines, both for hotels and restaurants and basically for the entire tourism sector. And I think it had a very good, people really accepted it. So they said, okay, it's maybe a bit serious, but once they keep it and once they do and keep all the regulations and introduce it, and especially if they explain it to their colleagues that they really have to be careful and we have to be careful with each other, then I think it's a chance to convince tourists to come and guests to come and not be afraid. And I think even during the summer when we had these we had these like 2.5 months when our borders were open from the 15th of June until the 1st of September, at least in our case in Hungary. I think we all had some interesting experiences. Like some of the people, some of the tourists were really wanting to go out, wanting to travel, wanting to go to restaurants. And of course, there are some others who really are afraid of the virus. And I think we have to respect them 100%. So we really have to have a different approach and we have to be flexible about how we approach each other. So I think that's what we can do, and also what my personal mission is that we have to understand, especially now in November, that when we speak, that the entire business life is on online platforms like we speak currently. Obviously, it would be much better to sit in a studio and to see you personally, but we all have to understand that now we live in a different world and we have to really adapt to it in a way. And what we do, for instance, is that we try to educate in a way our business-to-business partners like travel agency owners or representatives, that they should really join us whenever we organize them, our webinars or meetings, or we had the WTM last week, and we try to convince them to join, to be active. And I think we all need to learn new techniques and adapt to the new world which surrounds us currently.
Yeah, I mean, we're personally finding both with our sort of leisure groups as well as our corporate groups, it's there's kind of a confidence coming back in terms of safety. It's more of a restriction worry at the moment, sort of the fact that there's various different rules, quarantines, or the fact that you could be out there and there'll be another quarantine that will come in that will restrict it. Like I say, we've been pleasantly surprised that people are relatively confident to get back out there and travel where it's possible. But I do agree with you, and I think it's probably where a lot of the information has come across this pandemic. There seems to be two schools of thoughts. There'll be ones that will be strictly towards the virtual world, and some that will need to go with live events. I think that's going to be more sector based, and it's understandable. Some sectors will probably work a lot better anyway through the virtual route. But what we're trying to do is sort of bring that confidence and positivity back to the market for those that are looking to travel and to do events. So in terms of putting Hungary on the radar for our clients and for other people sort of moving forwards, because it does tend to sometimes sort of slip under the radar of destinations. What can we expect? Sort of what sort of group sizes do you think moving forward we can sort of start getting out there when obviously the restrictions have been reduced?
Mm-hmm. Yes, when we speak about the UK, we are aware of the fact that 93% of visitors spend their time within Budapest. But I think that after the COVID, people have now a different approach to city breaks as well. And also when we speak about meetings industry, I think it might also change. Especially that my expectation is that groups might be smaller in the future, so not thousands of people, maybe not even hundreds of people, but less. When we have less people, then I think our venues in our countryside are probably much better, and we can offer many more opportunities. And I think Hungary, being famous for its capital city, Budapest, now has a chance to communicate more about our country and to extend the knowledge of our partner also about other touristic regions outside of Budapest. Just to mention a few of them, the Greater Budapest region has, for instance, a wine region to offer, which is known as the Vineyards of Budapest, and it can be reached within half an hour from the city center. Or also we can speak about Lake Balaton, which is a wonderful lake in the middle of Central Europe, a very big one. So I think we have to all think about the new possibilities that we currently have. And I think one of those is our countryside. And as all over the world, internal tourism became more important during the pandemic. Hungarians stayed in our own country. So basically, we know much more now about the beautiful places we have here. And also, I must say that nature in Hungary and active tourism as such in Hungary is also at a very high level, like cycling around Lake Balaton, for instance, or also the eastern part of the country has some beautiful routes. So I think we have much more to offer than our capital city. And I think that maybe this pandemic will give us a chance to focus on these regions as well.
Yeah, I think we're certainly finding that, not just with clients, but obviously with the other sessions we're having with destinations, that it really is a perfect opportunity now to really be putting other areas and other sort of different things for groups to come out to do as well in different locations, really showcasing that from the norm. Because I think when we do get back to it, there'll be, you know, a lot of people trying to do the same thing in the same destinations, and that could cause problems in itself in terms of bookings and whether you're able to go to that destination or the hotel that you've always been to, because there will be a real battle for dates to start with, which will be great in one aspect, but for the likes of ourselves, we're kind of liking to be flexible and sort of being able to offer something slightly different that still gives you that experience.
Yes, and when we speak about the next 12 months, basically we are currently working on a plan for the next 18 months, which I think is a very clever and important thing to do.
Yeah.
Is that we plan with online and hybrid events for the next few months, let's say until the probably end of March, and yeah, it's quite difficult to predict how the international travel restrictions and the regulation will change, either in our country or in Europe. And I think when we have these very strict health and safety regulations, then our business will soon start again. And what was very like a strengthening event, I would call, was this Power of Life event, which was, I think, a perfect example of this event. It was organized by the Budapest Convention Bureau, our partner. They became an independent organization after separating from the Hungarian Tourist Agency at the beginning of this year. And especially the Budapest Convention Bureau was established to strengthen the market position of Hungary as an international MICE destination. So we try to support each other's work. We try to focus on how to give out positive messages from our country. And yes, I think it's a tough job with closed borders and online events, but we try our best.
Have you found that there's been a significant investment into sort of technology to enable you to be stronger in terms of presenting hybrid and virtual events?
Yes, I think we all work on it all the time. I think there is some space for improvement. Honestly speaking, when I'm just thinking about last week's World Travel Market during the afternoon, when people from the United States joined the market, then there were serious technical issues and problems. So I think there is space to improve both the platforms and both our opportunities. I think creativity plays an important role here, and let me just give you one example, my favorite one, what we did here. is that we could not invite our customers from our B2B customers from abroad to show our country for them. So what we did was with my colleagues is that we started a shooting series of our destinations, and we try to show people how our country looks like, but this is not for the clients, but it's rather for travel agencies. And we currently have a very positive feedback about it. On one hand, we just really tried to focus and summarize things in a very special way. So even if someone is not personally here, but like many countries, for instance, Scandinavia, previously they were not really interested in our country or not in huge masses. But now it seems that more travel agents try to focus on our country instead of long-haul destinations. And for them, I think it's a very good way of looking at a new country or a new destination. And we try to give them and hand them over new information, in a way, after COVID information, meaning we try to focus on active tourism and on sustainable tourism. So we really try to show Hungary's face, which adapts to the new situation. So with the help of these digital study tour films, that's how we call them, we try to adapt to the new situation, and we currently have very positive feedback from our partners abroad.
And in terms of, it was a good point you made in terms of short-haul destinations, and I think that's something that quite a lot of cities and countries within Europe, particularly from the UK, tend to get forgotten about. Sort of what sort of transfer time from the UK and sort of connections would there be normally? Sort of to Hungary and to Budapest?
Most people from the UK, as I said before, like this 93% are coming to Budapest, of course. But I think there's a way to open up and to show them the new destinations. We have this greater Budapest region, which is easily reachable. So people, before they came for, let's say, a long weekend, 2 or 3 days, our proposal is to just extend it, or maybe if they do it just by 1 day, then they can see much more of our countryside as well. Also, the Lake Balaton, as I said before, it can also be during the summertime a wonderful 1-day trip, very easily reachable from our capital city. So we try to put together new programs for tourists, and we try to just give something new and more like relevant for the after COVID era. So I think this is all what we can do. And also what I'm also saying to my colleagues personally, that just please focus on your own immune system. And I think part of that is dreaming, like really dreaming about new travelings, like the personal ones, the leisure ones, as well as the meeting industry. So I'm pretty sure in a way it will come back. We all have to be quite patient and very positive. And I think our role is, like for all the leaders, is to keep the team spirit in a way together and keep it very positive. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Fantastic. Well, it's been a real great insight into what's happening over there, and I personally really enjoy your take on it and your positivity that's coming out of it, and the way that you're actually approaching, what has been a difficult year for everybody. Is there anything else that you would like to add at all?
Yes, maybe a very technical thing is that when we were all at home in online mode, we had like a daily starter meeting at 9 a.m. And I think it was pretty important for all of us, just start the day, know that everyone is in the same situation, everyone is trying to be focused, everyone was just giving some insight on how life is going and how people are, and my colleagues are organizing their lives, like business life as well. So these kind of like small things I think really matter, and we have to be, we have to implement also new things because now during the second wave, maybe the experience we got from the first wave helps a lot, but we have to find some new things as well. So for instance, during the first wave, half of my team could be in the office, only colleagues with smaller kids, they were at home. So in a way, we had to find a good mixture of how we find the ways to each other. And also I created some teams, for instance, in our life, the surrounding countries like the Visegrad Four, namely Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland became more important. So I tried to connect my colleagues who were focusing on the neighboring countries to just share best experiences and to support each other with knowledge and with new ideas. So I think this is a very simple way to just get people together and to create smaller teams to work together.
Sure, and that's really important. I think across sort of all of this that we've gone through is that we reach out and we still talk to each other. It's very, very difficult to just sort of, particularly those that are based at home, it's very easy just to sort of isolate yourself away from everything, and that's not a healthy situation to be in. So it's great to continue the connections there and reach out to people where you can.
And I hope to see you and meet you and people from the meetings industry from the UK. And we are looking forward to a much better 2021.
Absolutely, we can't wait to be back out there, and particularly with yourselves out in there. Thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Live events have a certain power. There are beautiful photographs you can look at, but some places must be seen with your own eyes. There are great recipes you can read, but so many flavors are waiting to be discovered. There are stories you've been told, but the best are the ones you've experienced yourself. Perfect. There are deals that are made in a phone call. Oh, that's me. But some businesses need a more personal touch. There are timeless records to listen to. But some live shows are truly unforgettable. There are times we love to go online. But real-life encounters can't be replaced. Events are everywhere, but there's nothing like a Budapest event. Because among all the great cities, there's only one Budapest. Whenever you are ready, we are ready.
Thank you for watching. We welcome any feedback and questions in the comment section below, and please make sure you follow me on all our social networks.